review I'm doing with my new mic. So tell me how it sounds, and if I mumble, I don't care. That's just what I do. But let me know. Hey, Egnards, I was wondering if you'd help me out with my roster and give me some tips as to where I should focus next. I got the GG up over here. Top 20 of fleet is mostly Leviathans, a couple of Chimeras. Well, for counter. A few Executors and Profundities, and one Finalizer. AB CT1, 2 or 3 out of 7, so fairly new. CT2, 1 of 7, CT3, 0 of 7, so nothing right now. I'm open to moving in any direction. I'd like to get a GL sometime soon, but it's not a rush. I'd rather not just go for a relatively easy one to get because it's a GL. I'm currently working on Jedi Knight Luke with the end goal being JML. That said, I'm really into efficiency, so I'm more than open to switching. I included a screenshot of where that farm is at. I have the ship requirements completed, okay? I do have that screenshot. I didn't pull it over to this notepad, so I do have an idea of where he is, Jedi Knight Luke. Let's just take a little bit of a look at a few things. Guild, okay, 178. 4 million. Let's just see. 3.8 million. We're at 4.2. Okay. Let's take a look at the arena page. So, okay. Negotiators getting us into the top 50. Do we have? No. Oh, well. All right. So that's the old composition. Doesn't have the new ship, which, I mean, makes sense, but surprised that it's pushing so hard. It's definitely a newer player as opposed to, a player who's maybe coming back from the game. Yesterday I did one of these and I was hoping for something without the Lightspeed bundles, and here we go today. So nothing on Kylo or Rey, Jedi Master Luke, Sith Empire, Lord Vader, okay, Jabba, Executor, Profundity, Afra. Just get an idea of where we're at with everything. All right. Let's take a look-see, shall we? So the first thing I want to do is kind of look at the ships, see if almost everybody is a prime candidate for having Executor. So did we mention that? I haven't had my coffee yet. Not there. Okay. Slave 1, Houndstooth, good. TIE Fighter. Imperial TIE Fighter, good. TIE Bomber, 6 stars, so we're almost there. Razor Crest. Razor Crest is almost there. What else? Gotta pull up this one. IG, 2000. Xanadu Blood, perfect. TIE Advanced. Almost everybody has TIE Advanced. I think that was like a reward ship or something. I don't remember. It's been so long. Okay, so first things first is Executor, right? You need to break into that fleet shard. I don't know if you're in contact with the fleet shard yet or not, but that's definitely something that you need to do. I did post a guide about how to get into your fleet shard because it is not as self-explanatory as people might assume, and we see it on the Reddit all the time where people are asking, hey, why is this grayed out? But I do have that. If you need it, just hit me on Discord and I'll send it to you, or you can kind of scroll through my stuff. It's about a 4-minute video. It's very quick. I try to be concise. That's most important. If there is no fleet Discord set up, just judging by the fact that this is a newer shard, though not a new shard, so I'd be surprised if it's not. I try to get one set up with the people around you. Chances are that right this second, they're not going to let you in without a GL ship. But it doesn't hurt to touch base just to see if they're adversarial or whether they're a friendly shard. Adversarial shards suck. They're in short supply. There aren't a lot of them. Some people make them seem like they're the big thing, but it's not true. It's far more common that people are all working together. Reach out to them, see what's up, see if you can get in. They might say, hey, come back when you get Executor, come back when you get Profundity, whatever else. But it gives you a goal to get free fleet shards every day. You are pretty close to being able to do that from a ship point of view. So I would start focusing on those characters, right? And I generally don't really look at the characters themselves because none of them are more than 3 months away, right? Yeah, you pop them, get them up. That should be your first priority over Jedi Knight Luke, because that's going to start to compound every month so that you don't have to spend inordinate amounts of crystals to get yourself where you need to be. Now, because the top 20 is mostly Leviathans, and depending, and I'm assuming you're not going to want to spend a ton of crystals to get a 7-star executor right off the bat, you're probably not going to be hitting the number 1 to 5 slot, but you will be able to break into that top 20 at the very, very, very least. And that's going to be an important metric going forward. Once that executor does hit 7, though, if you invest a little bit more on like IG 2000 to I think R8, that counter does work. It's not the most reliable thing in the world, but it does work. And there are videos there. It's not my bread and butter to talk about or to link about, but there are plenty of content creators who have that kind of thing. Definitely a priority to get those relics up. Now, going on the Jedi Master, before we do that, let's actually just look at what we have for different assault battles. Let's do places of power first, see how close we are. Sith, POP. Places of power, you should definitely be doing CT. Let's see, what did we say we have? Places of power, depending on mods, you should be fairly close to be doing CT2. Sith Empire on their own are probably not going to do it. But if you get Papa Palp up and you put him in the lead slot, even like G11, you might have some luck getting through that. I personally did Places of Power before I had any relics at CT2, using Papa Palp, who was like G11, Doku, who was G12, and that's not who I recommend you do it with. Nihilus, who was G12, and he was like the VIP, the GOAT of doing it. And then I used, I think, like Darth Revan at G10 and Bastilla at G9 and like a G11 Darth Vader. So it's really not terribly hard of an event. I think with just Papa Palp at G11, G12 in the lead slot, you should be able to do it with what you have, but you might need Nihilus. I think I said it right that time. Whatever. Let's go over to Jedi. I know kind of already what you have. Night Sisters, all right. We don't care about Night Sisters, but I do want you to kind of get Mother Talzin up to 7. And the reason why is then you can start doing the bonus event for her event. And if you start doing the bonus event for her, you're going to get 2 free Zetas every single time that comes around. So it's definitely worth slow farming her and then popping and getting those bonus shards each event cycle. It's not a high investment. It's a very low, relatively easy investment to do. It's a very old event. It doesn't require relics. Asajj at R1 alone, as long as everybody else is like level 85 and like G8, G9 should be fine. And I wouldn't say it's a high priority, but I would be slow farming that just to be able to take advantage of that. Let's see, Imperial Troopers, probably nothing, right? Yeah, the Troopers are shit right now, which is fine. It is what it is. Empire, Emperor is a person. Bounty Hunters, are we doing CT1 on anything else? CT1 or 2 or 3. So this is one that you're probably doing at CT1, and if you're not, you definitely should be able to do it. Throwing in Bosk in the lead slot, Boba Fett, Dengar, Jango. Honestly, you could do it with IG-88, but Grief Cargo will probably be your best bet. Otherwise, it's not a super hard event, but you will have to do it on manual and kind of stack the event specials a little bit. It will be worth it if you get the 3-star, which again, not terribly difficult, just so that you're getting Zetas and not impulse detectors, Zetas and finishers and Chirotech. Rebels. Alright, so Rebels with your standard Rebel squad, Commander Luke, throw 3PO in the 2nd slot, Han Solo, Chewbacca, C-3PO, those last 3 slots don't matter at all. use the event special on everybody, and quite honestly, you should be doing CT2 on this. Okay, and you're telling me that the only CT2 that you have is Jedi, so this sounds more like, I don't want to say a skill issue necessarily, but it does sound like a modding issue, or just maybe not understanding the event so much, right? Like, I'm looking here at this crit damage mod, it has 0 speed on it. I'm looking at this protection mod here, it has 0 speed on it. I'm not saying replace it right this second, but I am saying really try to prioritize getting speed in all of these slots for these guys. Oh, there goes a Discord. Otherwise, I mean, the ones that you do have speed on, they are relatively decent mods, but it might just be worth it to, look at this, 0 speed. It might just be worth it to remod just for this event, and building full character loadouts so that you can switch back afterwards without too much issue. Because this is a definite CT2 with where you're at. When I did this, Chupio didn't even exist. And let me just throw Discord on my phone, see who's bugging the shit out of me right now. Oh, okay. I did it with R2D2. Chupio did not exist at that point, and my only relic was an R2. So this is a definite easy one. And I'm assuming not. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so normally at this point I tell people to go for C. It makes the most sense for me. You're already kind of started on the Jedi Knight Luke path, and it seems to be where you want to go. The good news is that it's not a bad place to go. So even though I might say that C is slightly more efficient, if this is the route that you want to go, it's still a really strong route, and it can be a lot of fun and be very beneficial. So I would say stick with it. Again, going for Executor first, or at least focusing and prioritizing on getting Executor and getting those relics up, so that when you have the ships done, which should be done in short order based on where you are, you'll be able to do that event right out the bat. Now, the good thing with Jedi Master Luke is that that Jedi assault battle, you should be able to do that at CT3, right? Because we do have Revan. We do have Gas, who's not quite there yet, but you don't really need him. Just kind of helps. There we go. You do have Kenobi. What you're going to want to do is Jedi Knight Luke lead, 0 speed mods on him. Literally nothing in terms of speed. Throw him in the lead spot. Have a nice, really fast Hermit Yoda. And call the Jedi Knight Luke mass assist pretty much right away. If you do that, and you do that at the end of every round to kill the last guy, Jedi Knight Luke will speed limit everybody, and it'll kind of allow you to kind of hop between each of the enemies without having to worry so much. If you can't do it just with Jedi Knight Luke, Jedi Master Luke will significantly make it easier, though he's definitely not required for CT3. Whew. And then the nice thing is that you should be on the path to having military might also at CT3. You can actually pull Chewbacca out of that group and throw Chupio, not Chupio, you already have him at relics, but throw him on Mothma, who will be R5, use the event special on everybody in the team, and then just hit auto. It'll work. Will it work at G12? Probably not, quite honestly. But the CLS squad is solid to work on, and you'll already have the Mon Mothma ready. You'll already have the Chupio ready. You'll have Commander Luke Skywalker at R3, right? So it's not going to be too much more of an investment. Okay, so again, Executor, pop JML at that point, right? The other added bonus of JML is that you will be 4 million, and you are 4 million, and he is really the GOAT of Conquest. He can do pretty much everything that requires a feat for light side, because he can call pretty much every light side character as an assist. And if you get the voluntary Vanguard disc, it's a permanent taunt on him at all times, which is, just perfect. And let's just check on this. Okay, Watt's at 5 stars, so your guild is definitely doing that right now. Continue on that route. Um, you're not necessarily there yet, but you're getting close to the point where you might be outgrowing your guild, so you might want to start looking into different guilds. I have a feeling, even with no GLs right now, you could probably get into a 250. The one thing is that you probably do want to be in a guild doing DS Geo for Watt until he's 7 stars, because it's going to be a real pain in the ass and a real drain on your resources later on if you're in a Rise of the Empire guild, and you have to kind of burn earlier resources to get him. So that would be the one sticking point. Now, I did a review for somebody yesterday, and I gave them very similar advice, and they told me, due to life circumstances, it's very hard for them to be in a bigger guild because they're away for X amount of time each month, and the guild they're in is very allowing of that because they're lower end, and they're more casual. There are more casual guilds at all levels, but that's a personal choice, right? So when we talk about efficiency, we're talking about how to get things as quick as possible, but we also have to talk about what is a right fit or a correct fit for you as a player. So I'm not saying definitely leave your guild, but I am saying, it might be a consideration that in the near future you might want to explore better options. All right, let's see what else we got here. We have Separatists, so let's take a look. Right, because we do have gas. Battle Droid, Magna Guard, Super Battle Droid. One thing you might want to consider also, if you're not already doing Forest Moon at G1 or at CT1, if you bring General Grievous up to like G12, that might be something that you can get away with, right, with what you currently have. It might be a little bit iffy, but that's a possibility to look into just because of all of the TM that'll be spread between Grievous and Super Battle Droid. That might work out for you. Basically, one of the big ideas is that you want to get CT1 at 5 out of the 7 challenge tiers fairly early on so that you're compounding. I know I've been playing for a lot longer than most people, but I have literally never had to farm a finisher, right? An injector handle, ever, not even once, just from getting on that early and allowing that to compound every single month. So it's just a small thing to consider. After JML, it's kind of the reverse of the advice that I give people often. Is I would probably strongly consider going for C next. And the reason why you want to go for C next is that Places of Power, you'll be getting CT3. Forest Moon, you'll be very close to be getting CT3. You'll have 3 out of the 5 of the Imperial Troopers that you need. And you'll also be doing the same thing with Rebel Roundup, right? So that'll really bring all of your challenge tiers in order, except for Nice Sisters and Inquisitorius, both great events, but not super conducive to earlier game play. So it's not something that I worry about, since the ROI isn't necessarily there for somebody who's a little bit earlier in the game until you really start using those teams. The other nice thing about C is that he's really, really, really good for proving grounds. And sometimes you need other characters like Treya or like Thrawn or whatever else, but for the most part, he becomes the backbone for a lot of teams, which are going to allow you in the future to catch up on all of those proving ground characters that you have not gotten already. There was a character I wanted to look up here, and I'm gonna forget who they were. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. So when you do start going for C, we can talk about a strong Imperial Trooper team versus just an ROI Imperial Trooper team, right? You'll have Piet, you'll have Veers, you'll have Stark. You'll want to bring up Ranged Trooper, who's just solid. You can keep him at G12, and then you have a choice on what you want to do in terms of strong versus good ROI. Dark Trooper is a really solid choice for a strong team, but he's going to be Kyrotech heavy, and that's going to slow you down. Snow Trooper is a really nice choice because you can bring him to G12 and you won't have to spend any Kyrotech at all. Keeping in mind, because this is going to be an off team for you, you might have to remod just to do the events, But when you only have to do the events one time to get that CT3, it's 100% worth it. Now, this is something that I say to a lot of people. We're looking at Executor, we're looking at JML, we're still kind of on the cusp of getting Jedi Knight Luke, we're looking at getting C, and that'll kind of like build up the regular ROI of what we have. Once you do that, the game is probably going to look very, very different. So at that point, you may want to reassess. What I would say, using only the information that I have right at this moment, right, and 5-6 months from now, again, things will significantly change. I would probably recommend going for Jabba, and you can farm up those marquees kind of towards the middle of your C journey, right? You don't need to start doing that right away. You have plenty of time before you start doing that. But Jabba's going to really help you out just in terms of GAC, just in terms of credibility in a Rise of the Empire guild. And that Smuggler's Run 2 event is solid. Like, it's just one of the best ROI events that you can possibly do. So that would be my suggestion. I see you've got General Skywalker fairly low. You might want to take just a short detour to bring him up as you start to kind of push more into Jedi Master Luke. Even if your 501st isn't amazing, General Skywalker can do really well on a Jedi Master Luke team, but he's also really nice solo. And if you throw him with a 501st team that is lower end, they're going to be protected behind him, and it just adds an extra layer, and you don't necessarily have to worry. It's not going to be amazing of a team, but he's just that solid. You spent so much work getting him, you might as well be utilizing him. If you have any questions, hit me up on Discord. I'll send you this once I get it compiled. We'll go back and forth, and we'll figure out the full cusp of that plan.